Hello, radiant souls of the light. Welcome, and thank you for being with me again this week. It always is a pleasure and truly an honor that we get to be in this sacred space together, sharing soul to soul, talking about what's really happening in the world today, and most importantly, the changes that are happening within us. Last time we spoke, which was almost 2 weeks ago now, Saturn had just was about to move into Aries, if you remember. And many in our community are now experiencing their Saturn return, perhaps the first, the second, depending when you're born. Perhaps you're born between 66, 69, 96 to 99 roughly. That's Saturn in Aries territory. But for all of us, we felt a real injection of boldness and strength and vitality shining through us over the last 2 weeks. You may have noticed that you've become more physical. You may have had a few little bumps and bruises, little accidents here and there. That Aries Saturn energy really calls you into account and makes you take stock of your physical body and your environment. And most of all, it calls for you to come within and reclaim, refine, reignite, remember who you came into this lifetime as. The original soul that came through at your birth, the one with eons of experiences and clear vision of what it was you wished to experience this lifetime. So there's a call for authenticity. Have you noticed? Have you been thinking about it yourself? You would have certainly seen it happening in your communities, online, in person. Many people all over the world are speaking about wanting to be real, wanting to be relatable, cutting back the extraneous, stop regurgitating, let's get to our original source. Much of this is due to the rise of technology, as we've been speaking about for many years now, with artificial intelligence said to have now, with our online feeds, be taking over human-generated content for the first time ever. That's huge. That means a lot of what you are consuming was not human-created. It is a regurgitation of someone's words, another regurgitation, a watering down, a watering down, a watering down. And we feel that in authenticity. There's something missing. It's empty. It's just words because the soul is not shining through it. And being souls that we are, we love it when we can find something in our life that feels genuine and warm and soul-based. Back in May, you remember around about the time of the full moon, the Buddha's celebration of life, I spoke to you about the meeting of the spiritual hierarchy once every century, 25th year of every century, to discuss humanity's evolution, where we're going, where we've been. And I spoke to you back then that the originator of that information was Alice Bailey, back in the early part of last century, who was channeling through from spirit so much higher level information that she earned the moniker of the mother of the New Age. So much of what spirituality is now came from the teachings she brought through. And they've all been watered down over the years, over the decades. And a lot of the terminology that the spiritual community uses today came in from that source without potentially knowing that it did. But what happens when we water down the original information is that it becomes weaker, not as potent. And we ourselves don't really understand it because we haven't lived it. We're just relaying what we've heard or learned from someone else. And experience is everything. The experience of your soul is what brings through your authenticity. And so the way I see where we're heading right now with life and with society and with technology, slowly taking away a lot of our thought processes and a lot of the thinking for us, is that we have to become more real, more authentic, and we've got to put our work in and our effort in to know what's right for us and what isn't. That's discernment. And in a good way, technology is forcing us to be more discerning. But that requires work on your part, a bit of effort, applying yourself. Saturn in Aries is certainly going to really come up underneath you and give you that and help you with that. There's nothing like dedication and discipline to your path for the human. We need it, and it will be instilled within you, and you'll certainly be hearing it coming through from me, as you have for many years. So that authentic self that we're all craving online and in reality, when we think about it, it comes back to us and rediscovering who we are as a soul. So I'm going to give you an analogy today to help you understand authenticity and not just have it be empty words, but a real basis that you can work with. Over the past week, I was watching a video online, and it was Christine McConnell, who's a very creative soul. If you've ever watched her videos where she makes over her beautiful home, and she's incredibly inspired. And she was making over another room in her Victorian villa, and it was the fireplace that she wanted to bring back to its original pristine beauty, the pristineness and the vision that whoever created that fireplace had in mind. And so she slowly started stripping back the layers of paint that every person that lived in that room or that owned that property through all the eras of many, many decades had decided that that's what that fireplace would look like, so that its original beauty was covered over. And as I was watching this, I thought to myself, how interesting. That's like our life. What a great analogy. We take on layers of protection, different roles. We become what those around us mold us into, particularly as children, from our parents and our peers and our siblings. We take on the habits of others, the looks of our eras that we're in. We do that to cope, to survive, to thrive, to get through life. And over the decades, there are so many layers put upon the original soul that we came in as that we've forgotten who we are. And you may have said this yourself, who am I? I've forgotten who I am. I don't know who I am anymore. So this process of stripping back the layers, that's akin to the spiritual path, peeling back the layers of the onion, as you've heard. And it requires work. It does force us to slow down, to stop, and to look underneath on what's really going on. I invite you this week to do so, to think about all of those layers that have been put on you, that you may have put on yourself and that others have, all the roles you've taken on just to get through or to get you where you need to be. And go back into soul and ask, remind me of what I was like when I was very, very young, when I was a child, before I was totally conditioned to be something that I'm not. Perhaps I wasn't encouraged to be more of me. Perhaps my parents wanted me to be like them, peers, family members, conditions in my life. What have I taken on that's masked over who I really am? Show me my original, authentic self, the one I brought into this lifetime, and sit with it. Go for a walk while you're doing this. Walk and talk. Allow the visions to form. Take your time with it. Keep coming back to it. And I trust that what will happen slowly, slowly, is that you will start to remember, actually, I'm like this. And I'm actually quite courageous. And I was very bold as a child until I was told to be quiet and not to say those things. I'm actually outspoken and eloquent and empowered. That's who I came in as. And as you do that, it's quite interesting. The layers start to dissolve. You're not going to lose your experiences by taking back the layers they're actually assimilating into the very fabric of who you are. We never lose the experiences, but we have a clearer lens and a clearer vision in which to engage with the world around us. So let me know how you go with this process. I think it will help greatly in understanding what authenticity is and in finding your own and bringing that being out more and more in your daily life and not covering them over with words and ideas and ideologies and roles that do not suit you, particularly the soul that you came here to be. If you'd like us to explore that topic even more, let me know in the comments. I'll join you in the comments after this live. And the coming week of June 6th right through to the 13th, Jupiter's about to move into Cancer for the first time in 12 years. Maturing is happening. We're rising up into our authenticity. It's a perfect time to be talking about this topic and to delving in to the love that we are. I love you. Thank you for being with me today. And as always, we'll speak again very soon.